It's Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
We are in the living room today. Everything's set up so that the camera is on the table. I've got the chat here so I can see what everyone's saying.
We've got a Sydney.
We've got a Sydney that may or may not come in and out of the frame. Hello.
What's this?
Come on then. Come on then. Good girl. Here's a Sydney. Here's a Sydney. Today is going to be quite different from other days. It'll be similar to what we did on our live stream marathon, where we went live in different places. And today we're going to try, I think it'll work. Alex is going to go to the roastery and roast some coffee. And he's going to take Skype with him. And he'll Skype in so that we'll split screen it so that you can see Alex doing his roast while
and you can explain whilst
I can kind of talk through what's going on in the best possible way. Also answering any questions while Alex is roasting. I also have a coffee dictionary here, so I'm going to be doing a few coffee definition explanations. I also have a few Q&A questions that I've made up for myself that I'm going to talk through because I'm just going to talk.
And if you want to ask me anything whilst at the roastery,
I'll be able to see the questions.
Yeah.
I can relay them back to Alex, who'll hear me
Good idea.
on Skype, and then I could always unmute you and you could explain them, or I can try and do my best explaining while you're doing whatever you're doing. But the roastery is about 5-minute drive, 10-minute drive from where we live. So Alex shortly will be heading off to the roastery, which is at Kenyon Hall Farm. He'll be setting up, and then I guess you'll call in shortly after that on Skype.
Yeah.
As long as you can get good enough signal.
I think I should be able to.
Yeah. And then we'll just take it from there. This is a different one, another different one for today. Sort of planned, sort of unplanned, but that's how we roll. That's how we roll. Look at this little bean. Oh, I've gone very bright again. Ah! It's constantly changing from stormy clouds to blue skies. So if I look a little bit angelic, say, turn it down a bit.
Yeah.
That's a bit better. That is why. But I can see, there's a few people here already watching, joining us. But it's just going to be me on my own for the next 10 minutes or so. So wish me luck talking solidly for 10 minutes. Hopefully people will save me by actually, doing some comments.
Hello, Alejandro.
Oh, could we turn the comments on here? Is it too late?
No, of course we can do that.
I think that would be great.
However, I did change them. Let's see what this does. It's a block.
Oh, that's okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, block's
Where
good.
would you like the block?
Over here.
Yeah. And smaller.
Smaller box but bigger writing, if that's possible.
I'm not sure what we can do at this stage.
Okay, well, okay.
No, I can change it. Do you want to make it a transparent box?
Yeah, and make the font size a bit bigger and make the box a little bit smaller. Is that possible?
I have to log into this.
Okay.
And then I have to create a new embeddable stream.
Embeddable. Thank you. Sorry to throw that at you. Last minute.
Okay.
Embed the stream. Nice.
We would like the opacity to be 0.
Yeah.
We would like the scale to be
quite big.
160.
Yeah.
Do you want a bit more?
Yeah. Make it big. Yeah, that's great.
All right. Whilst with the
Copy.
doggo.
I know. You're holding on to her.
I am. So if I double click on here and I paste.
Nice. You're genius. Hopefully that will work.
And
I guess
you want the width to be slightly less, or it doesn't matter?
I think it's fine. It doesn't matter. Let's see. Yeah.
But the height could be full length. But I suppose this is fine.
Yeah.
Let's see if that changes it.
Ta-da! That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. So we'll all be able to see the comments coming up over here. So I encourage you to just send in some questions. I'm going to start answering some questions that I've got for reference on my phone. Talking about coffee, talking about photography, talking about music, talking about anything really. A typical day in the life of Suzy and Alex, of what we actually get up to and how things have changed since lockdown. Today we were supposed to be shooting Caitlin and Tom's wedding, but they've now postponed it to next year, next summer. Which is typical for all the weddings so far this year. We've shot one wedding this year back in February, which I'm really glad we did. It was a great wedding. Too. It was really fun. And then it was like, oh, no more weddings now. So that's what we would have been doing today. But instead we're doing this. Funny how things happen, isn't it? But yeah, I would say you should go
with this
now. Look at that. You can come and cuddle with me if you want, Sido.
Yeah.
Come on. Come Come here. You're just such a lump. Come on, cuddly doggo.
Right, I just need to grab a couple of bits.
Yeah, you've got the hoover, the water and snacks in the Carringtons coffee bag ready to go.
Sounds good. Would you mind just checking the stream as well, because we're using a different microphone today?
Oh yeah. Let's have a listen. I could just do it on my phone, couldn't I? Let's just check if it's actually... There we are. Can we hear it? Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear everybody. Everybody. So I'm just going to get right on into it. This is weird, doing a live stream without Alex next to me, talking to a camera when there's nobody here, but I'm sure as soon as comments start coming through, I'll feel less awkward about just talking to myself. But I've got a list of questions, and it's actually from a hashtag which is from Instagram, which is March Meet the Maker. And I think that the idea of the hashtag and the questions is for makers, business owners, etc., who make things, to each day post something about themselves, just to show behind the scenes and talk about the origin of the ideas, and yeah, so that's kind of the idea behind these questions that I have. But feel free to send in any. This is so funny. I'm just like blah 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 blah, going into like Blue Peter presenter mode.
You can call me earlier if you would like.
I can call you earlier. Yeah, I'd be like, Alex, help me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking rubbish. Yeah, so the first question, or the first point to start talking about, is it says you, which I guess is me, which is also me and Alex. So talking about us, I suppose. Yeah, I guess the first thing I can start talking about is where the idea for starting a coffee roastery came from, because as you know, our main job is wedding photography and music. So I think talking about you could be interesting, explaining more about coffee and where it came from and where we're taking it. Yeah, so for the last 8 years, I think, we've been wedding photographers and also musicians playing on Disney Cruise Line and also doing lots of weddings. So weddings was our main gig, or is that still our main gig for the last 8 years, which seems like a crazy amount of time. And about 2 years ago, when we were working on the ships, we kind of were ready at that point to stick to land living life. We were still enjoying the ship gig, and also actually in the wintertime being able to go off to the Caribbean, jammy, to get the winter sun, but also hanging out with all the friends that we made on the ships. But we were ready to settle on land a bit more, get roots where we weren't always just living out of a suitcase and just on the road all the time. And we really wanted to get a dog. I don't know where she is now, she's gone. But that was one of the main reasons why we wanted to stop doing cruise ships, so that we could get a doggo, which we now have done. So we met Gabby, who was working on the ships, and I think we've talked about him quite a few times in our coffee mornings. He was the biggest coffee nerd ever, and it was very inspiring for us, and we would hang out with him and he'd just tell us all about coffee, stuff that we just didn't know. And yeah, it sparked our interest in coffee being more than just pour over some hot water and down it and get that caffeine hit. Realising that you could have coffees from all over the world and they all tasted different from each other, a bit like wine. So it kind of sparked a little idea. We thought, hey, is there a business here? Is there a business idea here? Because we knew that we couldn't just rely, or we didn't want to just rely on weddings, and wedding photography is our main job, main source of income. So while we were on the cruise ship, we were brainstorming, coming up with a business plan, working everything out. It was a good use of time, actually. He's back. What have you lost?
We've fully misplaced.
Go on.
I have the straight stand with a round base. Is there any chance that we left it somewhere?
It's here.
I'm losing my mind.
It's right here.
Never mind.
That's fine. Never mind.
I apologize.
That's alright. You don't need to apologise. Oh, we've gone bright again. So what else was I going up to? Talking about why we decided to start a coffee business. And
because of the cruise?
Yeah, because of the cruise, basically. So working for Disney Cruise Line gave us lots of things. It gave us lots of friends, amazing experiences, really fun times together doing the gig, playing the music, and it also gave us the spark of an interest in coffee. So yeah, 2 years ago we came up with the idea, and then over the next sort of 12 months or so, we started to develop what it was we were going to do. And then we were hanging out with our lovely friends from Argentina, Seba and Danny, who they were actually stuck on the cruise ship for the last 4 months during lockdown, but they finally got, I think they're home now, hopefully they're home.
Yes, I saw a picture of them in Patagonia.
Yeah, thank goodness. It was they couldn't fly home because there were no flights to Argentina, so I think they sailed across to Dover, were kind of bobbing around the British Isles, and then finally they managed to get a flight home. But yeah, so we were really lucky to spend loads of time with them on a couple of cruises, because partly because they're our friends, but also because one of their best friends, she is the daughter of a coffee farmer in Colombia. And one thing led to another, and we booked flights to Colombia. Luckily, Seba and Danny were going to Colombia to see Angela at the same time. So we all flew into Bogota. Hi, Sydney. And we took a 8-hour bus journey down to Huila, which was a coffee region, which is where the farm was. And we stayed on the farm for about 3 nights, I think it was. 3 or 4 nights, yeah. So we actually went to a real life coffee farm, which sounds so like, oh, real life coffee farm, but it was just the most amazing experience ever. We saw how the process from, growing the coffee to processing the coffee to bagging the coffee, and then obviously it gets shipped out to wherever it goes next. So that really cemented it for us. We were just like, this is what we want to do. We want to work with coffee and hopefully one day be able to actually buy Angela's father's coffee. We soon found out that that's quite difficult, more difficult than we thought, to be able to export coffee. But we'll get there eventually. So then we came back and we went full steam ahead, and we bought our coffee roaster, which was third hand, I think. I think Alex is still here. He'll be...
The life of the coffee roaster.
Life of the
roasting machine.
Yeah, was it third hand we bought it?
So, it was first bought directly from the shop in Spain.
Yeah.
And it was used by a coffee consultant for so many years. And then he passed it on to somebody who works at a major coffee roasters in London.
Yeah.
Which is where we picked it up from the person's house.
Yeah, literally his flat.
Yeah, flat in Brixton.
It was in bits. So when Alex heads over, when he sets up the Skype, you'll be able to see the roasting machine at work for the first time, live. Oh my god. So stick around for that, because I think in the next maybe 15 or 20 minutes, it means I've got to talk for 20 minutes.
I'm really sorry. Like I said, if you want to call me, hands free.
Hands free. Okay. No, it's fine. As soon as you get there, whack Skype on and we'll take it from there.
Right. iPad attachments.
Yeah. You got enough charge on the iPad?
Charging equipment.
Yeah.
4-way. Yep.
Got the Hoover.
Yep.
Got the water.
Yep.
Cool. And something to put your phone in for the rain.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Alex, to get Wi-Fi or to get signal at the roastery, he has to use his phone's tethering, but it doesn't work inside the roastery because it's just blocked off and the signal doesn't get there. So you have to put your phone outside, and then tether, and then Anyway, So Alex will be heading off to the coffee roastery, and bye. And we will hopefully be able to live stream his Skype feed here. And you'll be able to see him roasting in real time. A coffee roast, an actual roast of coffee, it takes between, is it like 8 to 15 minutes, depending on how light or dark the roast is. So we can roast about 4 lots of coffee in an hour. And our roasting machine is quite a small one. We do small batch roasting, so we can roast 2 kilograms of coffee at any one time. So I'm not sure how many roasts Alex is going to do today. I think he said 4 or 5. But I believe he'll be doing a Papua New Guinea roast, probably a cold brew roast, because we are going to launch our cold brew roast as soon as the packaging arrives. We've been waiting all week for the coffee packaging to arrive so that we can actually bag it up and take photos of it and launch it. But unfortunately, it hasn't arrived yet. I guess with lockdown, things are a bit slower than they usually are. I'm not sure, but that's okay. It'll be here soon. So he'll probably do a cold brew roast. I'm not sure how much. Oh, Sydney's crying. Sydney, come here. Sydney, Because we've literally had her, she's a lockdown puppy, so we've literally had her since lockdown began. And it means that she's with us 24/7, so if any one of us leaves, she just cries and gets really mopey, which is quite sweet, but also a bit worrying, because obviously one day we're going to have to leave her with friends or leave her alone for a few hours at a time, which we have been doing when we go to the roastery together. We'll leave her for a few hours, so she is used to it a little bit, but at the same time, she's a needy girl. Sydney, come here. Come on then. Hiya. Come here. Hello. Do you want to say hello to everybody? She just licked my face. Say hello. She's like, who's here? Running away. So I think that kind of explains the you question that I was starting with, about why we started a coffee roastery in the first place and how we are ending up here. We've talked about this before, but our main job of wedding photography has been put on hold while weddings aren't really going ahead. I believe the rules are starting to open up to small weddings of about 10 people. So we should hopefully be able to photograph weddings, like intimate weddings, over the next few months. But the big party time weddings obviously won't be happening probably until the end of the year. So we're kind of holding out for that at the moment. But that was the first question. Sydney, you can stop crying now. Okay, so the next question is where? So where are we? So where we live is right next to the roastery. So we live in a little town called Lowton, and the roastery is at Kenyon Hall Farm. And I believe the farm has been in the same family for a couple of 100 years. I need to fact check that. But if you live locally, if you live near Manchester or Liverpool, it's right near the M6. So you can come and visit the farm, because it's actually stayed open for the whole time during the lockdown, and obviously now things are starting to open up anyway, because they have an amazing farm shop that has sold essentials. They have eggs that are from the farm, flour, they had pasta actually. They were like, look, we've even got pasta, when the first kind of bulk buying was happening. And now strawberry season is here, and they have strawberries for sale in the farm shop, and the strawberry picking will be opening up, I think, in the next 2 weeks. They do pick your own fruit every summer, and strawberries are always first on the list for pick your own. So they're working really hard to try and form kind of one-way system so that people can go in. You have to sign up a few days before, kind of book a slot. So it's all going to be very organised, and you can turn up a few days before, decide when you're going to go, turn up, and then head through to the farm, do the pick your own, head back round to the farm shop to buy some of our coffee, which you can buy in the farm shop. Hi, Sydney. And they also have a cafe, which isn't open for the normal kind of lunchy bites that they used to have, sort of tables and chairs. They've actually expanded the farm shop into where the cafe used to be. But they do takeaway coffee. They have our coffee in the machine, so you can try before you buy if you want to. And they also have like pasties and pies and things like that. Oh, you've come back now, have you? You've come back now. Lie down. Good girl. Ah, you can't really see her. She's like camouflaged. Sido, say hi to everybody. Morning. So that's the where we are. Okay, next question. How you started. I already answered that actually in the you part. Favourite to make. I guess that could refer to our favourite coffee out of all the coffees that we have. It changes for me. I feel like I go through phases. Sometimes I really like the chocolatey, darker roasts. So our yellow bourbon has got that kind of richer chocolatey flavour. And I actually had that this morning, the yellow bourbon Brazilian. And that one is the one that we have in the Kenyon Hall Farm shop. That's the one that they have on, I was going to say on tap. It's not quite right. And then I also really like our Tanzania, which we've just bought another sack of raw coffee for, because it's going down really well. People are really enjoying that one. And we didn't have very much of it left, so we restocked the Tanzania. I think we have about 40 kilograms left. So when that's gone, I think that'll be it, and we probably won't buy it again for a long time, because the coffee traders that we buy the raw coffee from, it's seasonal coffee, so once they've run out, that's it until the next time comes around. Hey, doggo. And then, our cold brew, which we have roasted and tasted. We just haven't been able to get the packaging yet, so it's not available quite yet. But that one is really tasty. It's really orangey and light and sweet. So I do quite like that one. So that's the favourites. Let's go into the next question. Photography. I guess because this is an Instagram hashtag list of questions, this would be you take a picture of what you do maybe and post it. But obviously we're photographers, so I can talk about that, I guess. So photography. I did art at university, which is where the photography came from. And hello. And wedding photography just kind of, I like taking pictures of people, so it just made sense and I enjoyed it. And I guess working with Alex, we found that we could, I clearly need another coffee because I'm just talking gobbledygook right now. But photography has been our main job for the last 8 or 9 years. Oh, sleepy doggo. Hello. We've gone dark again. Let's lighten it up. The storm clouds are coming. We've been able to travel all around the country doing weddings. We've done a few destination ones over the years. We did a wedding in Venice. We did a couple of weddings in Bordeaux, which were just dreamy. Lots of wine. We shot a wedding in Tuscany. Our friends from the ship, actually, John and Jamie. That was amazing. We've had some really incredible times over the years. Actually just getting to go to people's weddings pretty much every weekend in the summer, which is quite cool really when you think about it. So it's quite sad that we aren't able to do that for however long. I mean, it's the unknown that's the sad part. We don't know how long it's going to be until we can do the weddings again. And as well as the photography for weddings, we've done the music at weddings. So I don't know which I prefer actually. I think sometimes I prefer the music because we kind of turn up, we play during the ceremony, and we get all the like lovely feelings of seeing people get married, and it's quite emotional sometimes as well, especially once they've got married and we play music during the signing of the register, and we can watch everybody's amazing reactions to just having witnessed these two people get married. And then often we play during the drinks reception, and we kind of set the mood. We're like background music during the drinks reception. And that's really nice as well, because that part of the day I quite like. Everybody's got a couple of drinks and you can see the bride and groom like doing the rounds, saying hi to everybody. And occasionally we'll do music at smaller weddings. We'll play live music. Oh, we're being called. Let's see if I can answer this. I might have to put headphones on. Alex is at the Roastery right now. Hello? Can you hear me? That was quick.
I've just arrived. Was it?
Yeah, you were really quick. I can put this on the camera now. Can I put you on so everyone can see you?
Yeah, I'm just going to put the phone outside in a second, though.
Oh, right, okay. Well,
May I do?
Yeah.
I'm holding the phone to the window so that it's got signal.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, exactly. How's it been?
Yeah, good. I've just been talking about myself and ourselves, and it's actually not been as bad as I thought it would be. I thought I'd just be like, I'm talking to a brick wall and this is really awkward, but it wasn't awkward. But there's a couple of people watching. I don't know who's there. Maybe if you guys comment and say good morning, then we know who's watching.
I think it was your phone.
Okay. Well, I've just restarted it, so hopefully it's working again.
Okay. Can I start setting up?
Yeah, start setting up. Let me just refresh. Wow, I was talking for like 20 minutes.
What's that?
I was talking for like 20 minutes non-stop since you were setting up. Okay, we're back in the house. So something happened then. I'm not quite sure, but I think our internet's just not really up to par at the moment.
We need to get our line attachment for it.
Yeah, we will do that. We will fix it up. But hi, Hayley. Hi, Kasha. I feel like hopefully now we're back in the house. If I've taken my phone off the internet, maybe I can share it. But if you, yeah, I think this is working.
Yeah.
Share now. Posted. Yeah, so I was talking... Oh, Sydney, what have you done? That was funny. I was talking about coffee and photography and talking about weddings and gigs and all those things. Morning, Kasia. Oh, cool, it's working again now. But now you can see right here Alex on Skype in the roastery. Ta-da! And the roaster machine is going to be fired up. I guess the audio is coming through, but maybe I should mute it now so that they can't hear you.
It's up to you. Maybe just monitor it.
Yeah.
Check it out.
I'll check it out on my phone to see how it's coming through. But this is quite exciting that technology allows us to do things like this. Let's see.
Here is our chimney.
Yeah.
Occasionally, a good pipe clean.
Yeah, definitely. Gets all sort of this weird kind of coffee flaky stuff after we do a roast. Right, let me just see if the audio is coming through fine. Yeah, it's working. It sounds good. Cool. So if you've just joined us and going into presenter mode, I am at home and Alex is about a 5-minute drive away at our coffee roastery. And he is going to do a coffee roast live on camera on a Saturday morning. So I don't know how interesting that will be to watch, but while Alex is roasting, I can be answering your questions about anything. About coffee, about the roastery, I've just been talking in the other video because it just cancelled and we had to start it again. Just been talking about why we started it and all that kind of jazz. I also have a coffee dictionary here. Ta-da! I don't know how interesting that will be either, but I can I can turn to a random page and read a definition about something to do with coffee. But,
Story time with Suzy Wimble.
Exactly, it feels a bit like boys and girls. Hello and welcome to Carringtons Coffee Co. Today we are doing a roast and we will be reading random definitions in a coffee dictionary. But yeah, who's there? Who have we got? Please say hello and say good morning so that I know who's joining me today, so that I don't feel like I'm all on my own. Although I do have a dog right here. You can't see her, but she's sleeping. Say that again.
You've got me. You've got me.
Yeah, that's true actually. You're right there. So
Do you want to give you what's going on right now?
Yeah, tell us what you're doing.
So, I haven't even turned the lights on. That's usually the first thing that I do. Let there be light.
Ta-da.
Okay, so the roaster is all plugged in. This roaster runs off propane, so it's gas powered, but the electricity is used to run the motor. So gas is on. I'm about to turn it on.
Ta-da! And we've just had a question, so while you turn it on, Lucy said, what sort of coffee do you sell? I only have a kettle and a cafetiere, no coffee making fancy objects here. Well, a cafetiere is all you need, to be honest. We often drink coffee from a cafetiere, both cold brew and regular coffee. All the coffee that we sell as whole bean, but we also sell as ground coffee. So you guys can order on the website and, is that the current air temperature? 13 degrees, very nice. All the coffee that we sell, you can choose which grind. So you can have it coarsely ground, which is good for cafetiere. You could have it medium ground, which is good for filter or percolator as well, I believe. Medium. Mm-hmm. Or you can have it finely ground, which is good if you have an espresso machine or if you have one of those mocha pots that you put on the stove. So we sell, all the coffee that we sell is freshly roasted from different countries. They have different flavour notes, and we can grind to order. So if you'd like to order some, you can decide if you want it whole bean or if you want it ground. You can obviously get yourself a grinder, because if you buy whole bean coffee, it just stays fresher for longer. But the packaging that we sell it in has a valve so that air can flow out, but also keeps it fresh. So if you do buy it, it'll last for about... we say 3 months, but ideally you want to drink it in the first month. Jasmine says, we're looking forward to giving you a wave when we go to pick strawberries. We have a cold brew cafetiere on the go and a hot coffee on the go at the moment. Amazing.
Today, are they coming to Kenyon Hall today?
Well, you can't pick strawberries yet. It's not open for strawberry picking. Yeah. But I think they're just saying that they will come down to Kenyon Hall and pick some strawberries at some point.
There are people, even though it's kind of drizzly right now, there are people with camping chairs out, like 2 cars spread apart from each other with chairs out either side. And then I also saw people walking from the cafe with takeaway cups of our coffee, which is great to see.
That's so cool. I love that. It's like, oh, enjoy Carringtons Coffee Co.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
After the next question, I'm going to turn the machine on, so it might be quite loud. So you might want to mute me in a second.
Okay. Do you want to chat a little bit more about what you're doing before you turn it on? There's no questions at this moment. I'll read them out in a second.
Yeah. The machine's fired up. For the first roast, I always need the charge temperature to be higher, so that the ambient temperature around gets up to speed, even though that's the wrong word.
Temperature.
Up to temperature, yeah. But then every roast after that pretty much follows our profile that we've spent time developing. And every coffee that we've got has a different profile. So that means different charge temperatures, different drop temperatures, different degree of roast, depending on what we think serves the best brew method.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Well,
yeah.
Just the best, bringing out the best flavours, because some coffees that are more citrusy or fruity probably don't want to be roasted as dark, because you want to keep those zingy kind of lighter flavours. But then other coffees that lend themselves really well to kind of stronger flavour. I mean, when you have the coffee bag that says like strength, that's not really referring to the strength of the caffeine. It's actually referring to just the punch of the flavour, isn't it? Like how dark it is, how bitter it is, essentially.
I mean, if we're talking about caffeine levels, it's Robusta coffee, usually the more inexpensive type of coffee that has more caffeine content in it. But the tastier, high elevation Arabica coffee typically has less caffeine in it, I believe.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And some coffee roasters will do blends then, won't they, where they blend different coffees together. But all our coffee is just one origin, one farm.
You know, when you talk about strength, though, I was thinking, when we use the little machine to check how much coffee has dissolved into the water, that sort of indicates the strength of coffee, doesn't it? You know, when you pull an espresso shot and we get a certain reading from it, it's stronger. Yeah. So strength is really dependent on how you brew your coffee. Yeah,
definitely. We had a question just before you fire up the roaster. Kasia said, how did you learn to roast coffee? Did you find it difficult?
Trial and error. We had a little tiny roaster. It's probably about this big, would you say?
Yeah. It could take about 200 grams at a time, was it?
Yeah. So we roasted a lot of coffee on that, and it was just fun more than anything.
Experimental.
And, we just learned about how raw beans take temperature and around what kind of level they start popping like popcorn, and then after that just finding out where the flavors lie in terms of sweetness and acidity all the way to bitterness and black coffee. It was just
good question.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute you now, I think, or turn it on, see how loud it is. It might not be super loud.
Just turn the volume down.
Yeah. It sounds kind of nice. I'll turn the volume down a little bit.
All right, so I think the first roast that I'm going to do is... What have we got to do today? We've got the Colombian for the farm shop.
Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea, I need to top up that. But I did quite a few roasts 3 days ago, I think. I'll start with the Papua New Guinea and the Colombians. We've just learned recently, because we're learning all the time, aren't we, Suze?
Yeah, constantly.
Best practice is to start off with for us at least, the lighter roast, because this machine gets really hot. It gets up to about 200 degrees. So we want to do the lighter roasts first, that we take out at a lower temperature so the temperature can drop quicker.
Yeah.
And then we save the dark ones till last.
Because the machine is super hot by then, especially on a hot summer's day. Like Alex showed the little temperature gauge. Sometimes inside the roastery, on a hot day, it gets like 30 degrees. So we need to do roasts early in the day when it's not too hot, otherwise we'd be melting. But yeah, we have a couple more questions. Asha said, does popped coffee taste good? And I think that's come from just getting jargon. Maybe we need to kind of more thoroughly explain what that is, what that means.
Okay, when I say pop, you can actually make coffee. You can actually make roast coffee in a popcorn machine. This is gonna sound, but you can do it if you really wanted to. And coffee becomes the coffee that you and I know when it reaches a certain temperature, when all the moisture, pretty much all the moisture has left the raw beans, and you get this coloured, like the steak, the Maillard reaction, the steak effect of these sugars and caramels sort of developing in the coffee after it's reached the right temperature. So when I say popped, I mean it's just about drinkable coffee, or it's coffee that's becoming the coffee that you and I know.
It's cooked, but it's not cooked enough.
Yeah. So what we're waiting for, and you can actually hear the pop. I don't think you. In fact, if I start with the Papua New Guinea, this one does a real good snap crackle pop, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We call it the first crack, and after that, we have development time. For this Papua New Guinea, I want to say it's about 22% development time.
We're getting into real, nitty gritty now.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, the coffee makes a popping sound when it's ready, essentially, and then we can take the coffee out of the machine anywhere along up until the 20% development time that Alex was talking about. I just want to backtrack to what Lucy said. She said she bumped into my dad the other day and said that he's very proud of me, which is really sweet. Small world moments, I like that. But yeah, Alex is just firing up the roaster now. It's getting up to temperature. And the temperature that he puts the raw coffee in is pretty consistent, isn't it? You always want to put the coffee in at what temperature?
For the Papua New Guinea, it's 195 degrees. But for the first roast, I'm going to let that get up to about 200 degrees and let that hold there for a few minutes. And then we'll drop it in.
Yeah, and it kind of spins it.
What's that?
I said, and then it spins it, doesn't it, in a drum?
Yeah, it spins it round. In fact, I'll be able to take this round. I'll move this in a second. In fact, I could actually just show it right now. Can you see the flame?
Lift it higher. Tilt it towards the other side. We can't see the flame, but we get the idea that there's a flame in there.
It started to hail outside.
Oh, has it? What crazy weather we're having. Lucy said, why do you think the NHS coffee, freeze-dried of course, tastes so terrible? It tastes like soil.
If you watch the In the Factory, we didn't know this before.
Oh yeah, with Greg Wallace. Love that show.
Yeah, the whole roast process takes seconds, doesn't it?
Yeah, they basically put the raw coffee into a big, massive roasting machine and blast it so that it's roasted immediately and it just goes brown immediately. So they basically just flash cook it. Oh, that's a lovely shot of the bin. They flash cook it, so it doesn't have any kind of. It's just baked basically immediately, cooked, done, and then I think from what I remember, they make coffee. As in a coffee drink.
Yeah.
They brew it, and then from the brewed coffee, they then freeze dry it like you would with any food that you freeze dry. So it's basically just freeze dry, a coffee drink that's been freeze dried, but the coffee drink itself is just made not very well, is it? It's just kind of flash cook the coffee, coffee's ready, grind it up, make a drink, then freeze dry that into like the powdered form. And then obviously you're adding boiling water and turning it back into the liquid form. So I guess there are companies out there that make instant coffee that's made with better beans, it's roasted better. So I would imagine that tastes a lot nicer. So I think, I can't remember the name of the company. Oh, True Start. Is that the name of the company? They make cold brew as well, but they also make instant coffee. Probably tastes a lot better than the kind of Nescafe stuff. But what it comes down to is it's just freshness, isn't it? If you make a coffee with freshly roasted beans, then it's bound to taste better than something that's gone through a bazillion processes, and then you just add the water. Oh, I think you've frozen. Alex, are you there? That's a shame. Let me just turn that off. He'll come back shortly. There we go. You're very welcome. Let me see if I can end the call with Alex and bring him back. How do I do that? Where's Skype? Doo-doo-doo-doo. I need to hang up on him basically and then call him back again. There we go. So he will be back shortly. Oh, the wonders of the internet. Not working. But thank you for your questions so far. That's great. Yeah, so as Alex said, he's going to be roasting a couple of different coffees and bagging them up. Oh, he's back. Back in the house. Let's see if this will work. Have we got you?
How are we doing?
I think you're back. We just lost you there. I think it's too close where you are. You need to move back to where it was when you started. I think that was a better shot. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a much better shot. Yeah, that's better. I mean, you can't see your head now.
Coffee.
Say that again.
Going to measure out the raw coffee.
Perfect. Yeah, I think keep it there, but if you can point it, angle it up a tiny bit. I don't know how easy that is.
Yeah.
And it's getting quite loud now, so I think I might have to turn you down slightly so that the sound's not too loud. Okay, I'm going to mute Alex's Skype, but I will talk through what he's doing. There we go. You're muted, Alex, but I can still hear you. So Alex is now measuring out the green coffee beans, the raw coffee. Do you want to show a little handful to the camera just to show everybody what it looks like? One moment, he says. I'm doing a voiceover now. Love that. Coffee. We tend to do 1 or 2 roast days a week at the moment to keep up with demand that we've got. It's actually going up and up, which is amazing. Like, we're really grateful for everybody that's bought coffee, that people have been watching these live streams and then have been buying our coffee to support us, which is amazing. Alex has got it there. You can see it's kind of a pale green colour, not the usual rich brown that you're used to seeing. And it has a weird kind of grassy smell. It doesn't smell that pleasant. You would not want to make a drink out of that. What gets me is how on earth, whoever made the first coffee drink, how on earth they decided that roasting the pip, essentially, of a cherry, heating it up in a pan and then grinding it and then putting water on it would make a really tasty drink. But hey, that's just how things happen. I don't know if there's a interesting definition in here that I could read out about a coffee cherry. Let's see. C for coffee cherry. How long on average does it take to do a roast? It takes between, depending on how dark or light you want the roast to be, it takes between 8 minutes and 15 minutes. But let me just ask Alex if I got that right. Is that right? Give me a thumbs up. Oh, he's just pouring the coffee in. Between 8 minutes and 15 minutes, would you say? Thumbs up? Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, so we can roast about four lots of coffee in an hour. And because obviously we are a small batch roastery, our little roasting machine can roast 2 kilograms at a time. But other roasting companies, bigger ones, they have these big massive roasting machines that can roast about 30 kilograms at a time. Oh yeah, so as you can see here, the coffee is ready to be dropped into the roasting drum. So there's 2 kilograms there of, I think, Papua New Guinea, did you say you were going to start with? Is that right? Yeah. And yeah, big thumbs up. That's so funny. And when it's time to drop the coffee in, you can see our scales. That's what we weigh it on. There we go. That's nice. Lovely. There's some roasted coffee. There's the grinder. Amazing. Okay, so when the coffee roasting machine is up to temperature, Alex will release the beans, and they will drop into the drum, and then the roasting machine will slowly roast the coffee. Not that slowly, actually, quite quickly. Yeah, so we'll probably see Alex do that in a minute. Maybe I'll make you so you can hear the sounds again. There we go. You're unmuted, Alex. And let's see, I was looking up it's Cold Brew, climate change, Chemex. I wondered if cherries was going to be in here. Just to describe. Release the beans, exactly. Release the beans. Alex seems to have disappeared unless it's frozen. Are you there?
Am I still there?
Yeah, we can hear you now as well if you want to say hi.
Okay. So when we first moved into this premises for roasting, we had quite a few issues to troubleshoot. One was airflow in the cabin, but we figured it out with adjusting the airflow into the machine itself, as well as using good old cardboard to.
Stop the draft.
So I'm just going to put that back in. But we're ready to rock.
Oh, that's got louder all of a sudden. That was cool. Nice. Love that. That was the beans going into the roasting drum. Release the beans. I'm going to say that every time we roast now. Alex, you know what time it is. Release the beans. Okay, yeah, so you can see the beans spinning around in the drum. That's quite a good little shot. I'm going to mute it though because it's very loud. There we go. Cool. So there they are, still green. Hi. And in about 7 or 8 minutes, they will be turning brown. And then they will have that popping noise of the first crack. So I will unmute it in a few minutes when the first crack will be upon us. 126. I mean, I'm just looking up anything. What's this? Different coffees, cherries. Yeah, there's loads. Yeah. What do people want to know? One more question. Do you both drink coffee black? I have it with milk, but my other half says it ruins it. I drink it both ways. This morning I had the yellow bourbon, which I made with a filter. It was a Chemex that I used. I could go and get it and show you. But all our coffees are very smooth and not bitter because we tend to not roast them too dark. So you might find that when you first drink black coffee for the first time without sugar, you might find it a little bit bitter. But actually, I think maybe if you tried our Papua New Guinea, or even the Tanzania, it's really smooth and really sweet, like naturally sweet. So maybe at first you might start sipping it and find it bitter at first, but eventually you'd soon get used to it. And the cold brew that we make, you don't need to add any sugar or any milk because it's naturally very, very sweet. So if you wanted to try a coffee black for the first time, I would suggest trying the cold brew. And the way that you do that is you take the coarsely ground coffee, you put it in, it can be a cafetiere, it can be a cold brew maker, it can be just a jar, and you put the coffee and you steep it in cold water for 12 plus hours in the fridge, and that draws out the coffee out of the coffee. And then once you're ready to drink it, you filter it. So you could either pour it through filter paper, or if you're using a cafetiere, you can just plunge it down and then pour it out. And you'll find that the coffee has no bitterness at all, and it's a really, really sweet drink. And you can taste the flavour notes of that particular coffee. So we found through all of our trials and experiments that citrusy coffees work really nicely as a cold brew. So that's why we recommend at the moment to try the Papua New Guinea. But as soon as our coffee packaging labels arrive, there it is, Papua New Guinea, we'll be having our specifically roasted cold brew roasted coffee, which, yeah, now it's summertime, it's perfect. But yeah, I don't think milk ruins it at all. I think if you fancy a latte or a cappuccino or a flat white, yeah, add milk. It's a different drink in itself, but yeah, I think... Yeah, I have no offence if people drink coffee with milk or without milk. I don't think it matters either way. Peter says, ready for my morning cup. Release the beans. Oh, that's already happened. So yeah, if you've just joined us, Alex is at the roastery right now. I'm at home, and he is roasting some Papua New Guinea coffee as we speak. I've muted him for now because the roasting machine is quite loud. And as soon as the first crack happens, I'll unmute it and you'll be able to hear the popping sound that the coffee makes once it's releasing the gas. And then from that point onwards, it's up to the roaster to decide when they release the coffee. So if you release it quite soon, you'll have a really light roast that has more acidity to it. Lots of people don't really like that. So it's a fine balance between making it really, really light roast so that you can taste all the natural sweetness and flavour notes, but it could be too acidic. So you roast it a little bit darker and then you still keep the flavour notes without the bitterness, or you can roast it even darker, and some coffees really lend themselves to that dark roast. I'm going to unmute Alex because I feel like you might have something to add to that. Go.
No, I was just enjoying listening to you. No, I agree with Suzy.
Okay, that's nice. I agree. But yeah, that's lots of people are just saying hello and joining us. We have 13 people watching apparently, which is cool. Somebody just said bonjour. There's a few people on
Bonjour.
Facebook, a few people watching on YouTube, and a few people watching on Twitch as well. So we have a multi-platform audience this morning.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's cool.
And Sydney's just chilling out.
She's literally right here, fast asleep. You can't see because your Skype is blocking her, but she's chill. Yeah. So how far into the roast are we? How's it going?
We are just over 5 minutes into the roast. I know by the many roasts that we've done with the Papua New Guinea that we should expect the first crack at about 182 degrees. So I'll see if we can hear that. We're currently at 155 degrees, and it's pretty much, in fact, I could show the curve. Should I show the curve?
Show the curve.
Show the curve. So we kind of want can you explain the rate of rise?
So the temperature goes up. So we get the roasting machine up to temperature about 200 degrees. As soon as you put the coffee in, the coffee is room temperature, so it's essentially quite cold. As soon as you put the raw coffee in, the temperature of the drum drops. And the idea is that you want to roast the coffee not too quickly. You want it to rise gently so that it has that development time.
Well,
go on.
So between the drop and the first crack, it will naturally rise up quite quickly, but we can control that. We can lengthen it out if we want to. But as you said, yeah, we don't want it to just, like with instant coffee, just be blasted with the heat so that
it's like baking a cake. You don't want to bake a cake at 300 degrees because it will just burn it straight away, and it won't. Yeah. It won't. The all the chemical reactions that have to happen between the eggs and the flour and the butter, blah blah blah. You know, they have to happen slowly over a period of time to bake a cake, to cook a cake. So that's kind of what we're doing with coffee. We're heating it at the right rate of rise of the temperature so that it has obviously all the science jargon behind it, so that it basically roasts it in the perfect way so that it tastes delicious. That was a great way to explain it, wasn't it?
No, it was great.
So here's the temperature. There you go. Explain.
So right now we are at 170 degrees. About 9 minutes, I reckon. We'll get our first crack. As you can see, it's quite a sharp incline at the moment, and this will, when it gets to the first crack, it might spike a tiny little bit because of all that energy being released. But then we're going to start developing the coffee to bring out the flavors of it. And as I said earlier, we'll develop it for about another 2 or 3 minutes. It works out about 22%. Development time after that, and during that time we don't want to bake the coffee. We still want the coffee to rise, but that rate of rise we want to not be as sharp as this. We want it to kind of an S sort of curve,
even out.
Yeah.
So we're going to be having the first crack very soon. Exciting times, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to share this again just to make sure that people know that we are live. Is this the right one? Let's see. But what will happen is this video will stay on our YouTube and our Facebook page, so that people can come back to it if they're interested. Let's share this. Roasting coffee right now. There we go. Post it. There we go. So the coffee that Alex is roasting at this very moment will be ready to drink after a couple of days, because when you first roast coffee, it just needs to, it's called degassing, which is obviously very glamorous, but the coffee continues to release gas, I guess, as you put it. So when you first grind and drink coffee that's only just been roasted, it doesn't really taste that good. It just needs a couple of days just to settle. So this coffee will be bagged and it will be probably ready to go in a couple of days. We've still got a little bit of Papua New Guinea left from our previous roast, but this is as fresh as it comes. So if you order Papua New Guinea today, then
Can you hear the first crack?
Oh, shh, we can hear it. Hang on.
Sounds like popcorn. It's quite violent, this one.
Can you guys
Wait
hear
for
that?
it. No, it's
Yeah.
happening.
You can hear it. I'm pretty sure
promise
you
you
can
it's
hear it. Yeah, I just turned it up a bit. Did anybody hear that? Let me know. But yeah, that's the coffee doing first crack. And now Alex will release it at what point and why. Would you want to explain that?
Okay. This coffee I'm going to release at 192 degrees. We do have more accurate sensors in, but yeah. I'm going to release this one at 192 degrees, which is about 22% development time based on this roast profile. And then the coffee will cool in the big drum. We like this part, don't we, Suze?
Yeah, it's very
the
satisfying.
way it comes out, it's like a waterfall. And then it cools for a few minutes, maybe about 5 minutes, as I start loading up the next roast. And then we can release it into our bucket and then start bagging it when it's at the right temperature.
Yeah, if it's too hot, then the bag just melts, basically, because the beans do come out very, very hot. And like Alex said earlier, when we're doing several roasts in one day, the last roasts, usually we do the darker ones, and those beans are very, very hot when they come out. They're kind of almost smouldering. So we have to allow them to cool before we can put them inside the bags. But then once they're in the bags, we put them in the bags that we sell them in, so they get stored, sealed, kind of temporarily sealed, so that if anybody wants to order it ground rather than whole bean, then they can, and we can grind it to order. And then we send them out. We've had quite a lot of orders over the last couple of weeks, which has been amazing. Like, I think by doing these live streams, people are finding out more about us and our coffee, and they're just supporting us by buying it, but also hopefully they like drinking it, so then we get repeat orders. We also have subscription, so if you want to buy coffee and have it delivered each month, you can go to our website carringtonscoffee.com and you can get a subscription. So you can decide how many bags of coffee you want each month, and you can change the bags of coffee at any time. So if the first one you want Papua New Guinea and Tanzania, say, you can write in the comments on your order, but next month I'd like to try a different one, or just surprise me. Some people do that. They're like, just surprise me, I'll take whatever. And you can select. Oh, there it is. So satisfying. It's very loud. Sorry, I'll turn it down a bit. There we go. And that's it. That's a coffee roast from beginning to end.
Shall I show the... Oh.
Go on.
1 second.
Do we have any questions while we're here? Because we'll probably be ending this live stream pretty soon now that Alex has demonstrated a roast. But while you are here and while we are here, any more questions about coffee? This is a coffee-related live stream today. I'll post the link actually to the website so you guys can get some coffee. Oh, that's loud. Oh, that's the chaff. I'm going to mute you because that's just very loud. There we go. So I'm going to give you guys a 10% discount code. It is Stay Alert. 10% off with code Stay Alert. Jasmine's just asked, can I increase my subscription? I need to look into how that works actually, but I think you'd probably have to cancel your subscription and then do it again, because how it works is the day of the month that you go for the subscription, we then get a new email once a month on that same day saying what orders have come through, and then we send out accordingly. So whichever day of the month you decide to buy the subscription, that's the date that it will keep happening each month. So if you would like to increase the amount of coffee, then you guys will have to cancel your other subscription and do a new one. I think that's right, isn't it, Alex?
I think so. We were talking about creating a separate spreadsheet, weren't we?
Yeah, but I think because of the way that the checkout system works, and taking payment, it's automated, so we can't actually alter your particular amount of coffee. We can change which coffee you have, so you can decide to have cold brew or Papua New Guinea or Tanzania, or if we run out of a coffee, we will let you know, and then you can choose which one you want to replace it with. But you can't increase. What do you do with the chaff? At the moment, we just throw it away because it's like fluffy, kind of papery stuff. I don't know if it would work as a like a compostable, what's the word? Fertilizer.
It just goes in the green bin.
Yeah, just goes in the green bin. It's kind of like dry leaves, but yeah. Alex, have you got? Oh, you've got no chaff now. It's all in the Hoover, isn't it? I was going to say, show us what the chaff looks like.
Yeah, I will do. One sec.
It's all in the comments. Yeah, that's
this
good.
Could
This could go everywhere, but you just hoover it up, it'll be fine.
So light.
Yeah.
Where are we?
Yeah.
Here.
I just want you to go like. Don't do it.
No, I'm not going to do that.
No. So that's just an outer film that's on each bean that just comes off during the roast. It gets caught in the chaff collector, but it's very flammable. So we always have to empty out the chaff collector after each roast, because otherwise a fire might happen. But we do have a fire extinguisher, and we do hoover it out every time. So safety first in the roastery. When the guy that we bought the roasting machine off, he actually said, he was like, "You guys will have a fire, don't worry about it." We're like, "Oh no," but it would just be the smouldering.
It just contains it, doesn't it, within the drum? If there was ever going to be it's just shut everything off, put the oxygen supply off, turn the gas off. Yeah,
we're not going to set fire to the roaster.
So the machine dropped in temperature really well, making us able to fire it up again for the next roast pretty quickly.
So you're going to do another one?
Yeah, I'm going to go for the Colombian now.
Go for it. We may as well stay online. People are still watching. People are still enjoying. They're asking a few more questions. Yeah. So what do you do with the chaff? So that's what we just said. At the moment, we just put it in the green bin, because I guess I don't think it has any nutrient value, does it, as a fertilizer? Coffee grounds do, but chaff probably doesn't.
We're at the farm, so we can put it on the compost heap.
Yeah.
If we want to.
Yeah.
Usually we take it home and put it in our own compost.
Yeah, which seems a bit counterproductive, seeing as the roastery is at a farm. Yeah, we'll have a chat with the guys and see if they want to use it for compost fertilizer. I'm sure they won't mind if we just dump it in there. Usually their fertilizing thing is just full of scraps from the kitchen and eggshells and stuff from the cafe. Do you guys have any more questions? Alex is just going to go straight to do another roast now, this time the Colombia. And the Colombia coffee is our new offering, which is the Cold Brew roast. And we will be launching that as soon as we can. We're just waiting for the labels to arrive for our Cold Brew coffee. But yeah, any other questions about coffee while we're here? Are you enjoying this? Should we do this more often? Or is this a one-time thing? Let us know. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? We haven't actually had breakfast, so I suppose after this, Alex will probably head back home and we'll have brunchy breakfast. But tomorrow we will be back, and tomorrow we are going to trial doing a live stream at 4:00. Over the last few weeks, we've been doing live streams. I'm going to turn you down a bit, Alex. Doing live streams during the week at 10 a.m. and having coffee and doing some music and doing those three or four times a week. So this weekend was just a little bit of an experiment, just to see if coming on at a different time or at the weekend when most people aren't working, if that made a difference to the viewers. Yeah, how many people were watching and who was watching. So tomorrow we'll be back at 4:00, and we'll be doing, I think, Is this right, Alex? We're just going to be playing chilled out Sunday vibe music, acoustic covers, just playing maybe for like 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, that
just for
sounds
you guys
great.
to stick on in the background while you're having your roast dinner, or you're playing a game, or you're just hanging out with your dog or your cat, or you're cleaning your kitchen, or whatever it is you want to do. 4 o'clock, stick us on in the background and we will entertain you while you are getting on with your Sunday.
So this coffee's cool enough now
Yeah.
for me to drop into the bucket.
Okay, so Alex is going to release the beans, release the roasted coffee into our buckets where we just store it temporarily before we start bagging it up. So this will be loud. I'll turn you down. I'll mute you. But we had, Hayley said, Dylan said, yes, he's enjoying learning about coffee. Oh, that's very nice to hear. Rich said, have you ever tried mixing bean types like Colombian and Guatemalan? So that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier. We don't do blends. A lot of coffee roasters do blends of different coffees from different origins. But we, because we are small batch roasters, we really wanted to just focus on having single origin coffee so that each coffee has a different specific flavour profile, and we're like championing the coffee from that particular region. So we haven't, we could actually take our own roasted coffee and just mix it together and try it. Maybe we should do that today as a little experiment, because we haven't done that yet.
The coffees that we do have, though, we choose them based on their natural flavours.
Yeah.
Which are just, we think, are really great as they are. But let me show you something, because we had a chat over breakfast, I think, a couple of days ago. Right, this is done. Just give me 1 second. We had a chat about blends as we were assessing our new Guatemalan coffee. And sometimes when you buy single origin coffee, it might just be one variety of bean. But this Guatemalan one that we've got at the moment is 4 different varieties of Arabica coffee. And in a way, we were like, does this mean it's sort of like a blend within itself, from single origin? Because you've got Typica, Catuai, Catora, and Bourbon in one. And just let me show you, because it's so distinctive in the beans themselves. They taste great. They taste like milk chocolate and caramel, but they just look so different from each other. Let me show you.
Yeah. And let me just explain that. So different varieties of coffee is essentially different types of plants. So, for example, you could have loads of different types of tomato plant. They're all tomatoes, but they're all different varieties of tomato. So coffee's the same. There are lots of different varieties of coffee cherry. And some farms will only grow one. Some farms will grow 10 different ones. So yeah, Alex will just show you a handful of Guatemalan.
How do I do this? Is this here? So this is all from the same roast. It's a pretty even roast, and we weren't expecting it to be as even because the bean sizes are so different. And just to show you, let me see.
It's hard to show. Yeah.
It's hard to show, but this one is about twice the size, about 4 times the size as this one.
So they're all mixed. They're clearly from different coffee plants, different varieties.
So,
it's like having a big pot of tomatoes that are all different colours and shapes and sizes, all in one basket. This is from one origin, probably one farm, but they're clearly growing lots of different types of coffee, and they're just mixing it all together. So yeah, each coffee is single origin, as in it's from one country, single estate, as in it's from one farm. But clearly, the coffee varieties are not just one.
But we saw that in person, didn't we? When we were touring around the farm, we knew that in Colombia, we knew that they had different varieties, but they were laid out in different areas, different lots.
Yeah, different plots on the lots on the hillside. Yeah, so we saw it firsthand when we went to Colombia last February. So these farmers are growing lots of different coffee cherries, but essentially what they're doing is they're processing them all. So they're washing them and removing the flesh of the cherry, and just having the bean, drying them out, mixing them all together, popping them in bags, and shipping them off. So yeah, it's been a learning curve for us as well, buying these coffees from these different traders. But when we're choosing the coffee that we want to roast, we base it on a few different things. Do you want to explain that, Alex, what we choose it based on?
Yeah, when we started out, we just went for the coffees that we enjoy drinking ourselves. But now that we've got the opportunity to expand our offerings, we've chosen different flavor profiles, all the way from acidic ones to more bitter, and in between all that, from fruity flavors to caramelized flavors. So we base it off giving a good variety to our customers, and based off what we think you'd like. But back to that point of doing blends, I think, you know, when good old Joy here gets upgraded to a 15 kilo, 20 kilo machine, we might be able to start doing blends. It might be an option that we can do, you know, to create something that's that would be available throughout the year.
Exactly.
Rather than just seasonal.
Yeah. Because the coffee that we're buying small lots, so we're buying maybe 70 kilograms at a time, roasting them in small batches and bagging them up, and then once the coffee's gone, it's gone. But it would be quite nice to have the Carringtons Coffee Co signature blend, which means we can buy, you know, maybe 10 bags from different origins, maybe 2 different origins, 5 from each, and then that's our coffee for the year, and or probably more than that, hopefully more than that, and then, we can create our own blend, so our own ratio of how much of each coffee, to create a signature flavour that will be consistent and it will always taste the same. So if people like it, they can keep buying it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a possibility, but I quite like the seasonality. You know, cold brews for the summer, or from and the other coffees. Who's to say we can't buy it in? You know, if we were able to buy the whole lot from Colombia.
Oh, life's been interrupted. We've gone down again.
Oh, okay.
That's a shame.
Shall we do one more and then
I think we could
call it?
Oh no, we're back. We're back. How weird. No, we're still here. It said on the Facebook Live video interrupted, but we're still here. Carry on. Yeah. Who's to say?
So I was saying the dream when we started this business was to be able to buy Angela's coffee, and that is still like one of the things that we really want to be able to do, and to be able to get all of their coffee for the year directly imported to us would just be a dream, wouldn't it?
It really would, yeah. And it's something that we really want to make happen. And as I said at the beginning of the previous video, you know, it's a lot harder than we thought it would be. But the farm only produces, say, 15 each harvest, maybe 15 big bags of coffee. So it's something that we as small batch roasters could actually buy, and we could, you know, we can support a farm direct, miss out the middleman, and just buy the coffee direct from the farmer. But to actually export their coffee and get it into the UK is just really difficult, as you know, little humble farmers and roasters. We don't have the power like the exporters and the traders do. So we will find a way. And in the meantime, we're keeping in touch with Angela. We're chatting to her, seeing how she's doing, because obviously with everything that's going on, you know, her and her family are going through their own crazy times. But yeah, we're hopeful that we'll be able to. Never lost you. Oh, okay, that's weird. Oh, that's good. So we're still here. Never mind then. So are you on the next roast? What's happening now?
Yeah, so we are approaching first crack. This roast is actually for Kenyon Hall Farm. In the meantime, usually I'd be bagging the previous roast, so I can keep the workflow going. I might do that after this roast because I've got another bucket for this to go into.
Yeah, we'll stop the live stream after this roast. I said that this roast was for the cold brew, but I'm wrong, aren't I? You're doing Colombia, which is the same coffee we use for cold brew, but the roast profile is different. Carry on.
Yeah, and that one's only going to be available to Kenyon Hall Farm because we promised them that we'd always have a Colombian medium roast for them in the shop. So exclusively at Kenyon Hall Farm, don't miss it. What else was? Yeah, the cold brew. A few days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, I did quite a few batches of the cold brew roast, and that's ready for when those labels arrive. We can start launching it.
Yeah, finally. But it's fine because the weather's not so great now anyway, so you know, we'll launch it on a sunny day. So Alex is roasting Colombia, which is a medium roast. What kind of flavour profile does it have? What does it taste like?
This one is very similar to our first single estate offering from Colombia, in that it's a sweet, citrusy, more orangey flavour. But we've taken it further than the we've taken it further than the
Papa.
cold brew one. 1 second.
Alex needs to concentrate. I'll carry on talking. Yeah, so this one you can buy at the Kenyon Hall Farm shop, but you can't buy it on our website. So that's a reason to go to Kenyon Hall Farm. You know, that reason alone is just, you know, try a coffee that you can't get anywhere else. It's exclusive, guys. Yeah, so we're roasting it not too dark, but so it's still got sweetness. Yeah, go on.
Would you like to witness a first-hand error that's happened that I was
Oh.
expecting to happen? Yeah.
Oh no, what happened?
Okay, so we knew this was going to happen at some point,
Did we?
and unfortunately it's happened now. Gas. So I've seen this
Have
happen
we run
to
out
other
of
recipes
gas?
before.
Did we
I'm
run
pretty
out of gas?
sure we've run out of gas.
We knew that was going to happen,
that's-
didn't we? That's so
We
funny
knew
that
it
it's
was gonna
happened on the
happen.
live stream. You guys have
It
witnessed
happened
it.
on the live stream. So let me just show you. As in, like, it was sort of unavoidable because we didn't think. I mean, we had no gauge on the gas supply.
The gas canister that we have. Oh my god, look at that curve. It's just dead.
Yeah. So this is, and there we go, blocked burner. If I try to restart the burner,
It's out. It's out of gas. That's crazy that that's happened on live stream. Basically, we bought a massive gas canister, and ever since we started roasting, it's lasted the whole time. So this is since last August, and we were like, it's going to be running out soon. We know it is. We need to buy a backup, you know, so that when it runs out, we can just transfer it over. But we knew that it would fail during a roast, so we would have a failed roast at some point. Lucky for us, we only roast 2 kilograms at a time, so we haven't wasted too much coffee, which is a relief. We always
So
know
I'm
we're
just
going to roast.
I'm just going to release this now. It should be kind of like straw-like, maybe getting on first crack.
Yeah.
It's so light at the moment. I mean, it's a good example of showing the colour scale of roasted coffee. But you can see that the chaff is pretty much
Still
on them all.
Yeah, so guys, you saw it here first. A failed roast, which happens every now and again. And we do actually taste every few batches. We make sure that we're checking the roast profile, tasting the coffee to make sure that it's still as it should be. But obviously, if we fail a roast, then we can't sell it, or can't drink it. We just get rid of it. But yeah, it happens. Wow,
Yeah,
ran
if
out of
this was-
gas.
Yeah, and we were talking about this the last few times we were here. We're like, it's going to run out at some point.
Yeah.
And do we get 2 smaller canisters so that we can switch one to the other when something like this happens? But I think the big canister is great.
Yeah, because it's
and
lasted
maybe we
a
should
long
have a backup
time.
for the next time.
What we should
Yeah.
do is we should actually, because we've got we know exactly how many roasts that we've done because we know how much coffee we've sold. We should be able to
calculate.
We'll be able to calculate how many roasts that we got out of one canister, and then we'll be able to know when it's about to run out.
Yeah.
But yeah, how cool! I think that's kind of nice that we run out of gas on camera.
It was going to happen to us on camera or
Yeah,
off camera at some
yeah.
point. So
Funny. Okay, so that's it then. We should stop so that you can pack up the roast, the Papua New Guinea that you just did, and we will go out and buy some more gas.
yep.
That's the job for today. It does say live video interrupted again, so I don't really know what's happening, but
Okay.
at least we've got it recorded. I don't really know. I think it's dead again. Oh well. Yeah. So goodbye for now, and we'll see you
Goodbye
tomorrow
for now.
at 4:00.